Well, let's bring in Rami Khouri. He's a distinguished public policy fellow at the American University of Beirut and joins us live now from Boston. Rami, always good to have you with us. So look, Israeli media reporting that Israel won't be sending this delegation to Cairo. Is this just a negotiating tactic, or does this now dash all hopes of a ceasefire deal before Ramadan?
I'd say that it's dashed all hope before Ramadan. Ramadan is March 10th, so there's another full week. But this is a kind of hardball, as they call it in the United States. It's a really tough negotiating. But the thing is, Netanyahu is negotiating with Hamas. He's also negotiating with the United States, and he's also negotiating with his partners in the temporary government, the war government, one of whom, Benny Gantz, is in Washington having talks with American officials. And Netanyahu did not want him to go, but he went. So this is a six-dimensional negotiation, not just Israel and Hamas. But you have to really see the core issue as Israel wants some bottom line gains. They want the hostages released, and they want to be sure that never again will they be attacked from Gaza. And and Hamas and the Palestinian people and government also want all their prisoners released and the guarantee that never again will Israel place them under siege. So these are many, many issues that come together.
Yeah, Rami, I mean, given the terrible death and destruction we see every day in Gaza, it does beg the question, though, then, what is Israel's priority in this war? Is it to punish and kill the civilians in Gaza, or is it to get the captives out?
Most people think that their ultimate objective is to drive the Palestinians out of Palestine, not just Gaza, but also the West Bank and East Jerusalem. And they're doing it in many ways, destroying houses, refusing permits, scaring people out, choking the economy. They've been doing this for 50, 60 years. That's the ultimate goal. They want all of Palestine to be under total and only Israeli Jewish rule. That's what the Zionist project is all about. And they're pushing in that direction now much more openly than they ever did before. They also used to do it surreptitiously. But in the short term, what they want is they want the hostages out, and they want their Gaza-Israel border not to be a place that is threatening to Israeli civilians.
Rami, the sticking point then appears to be that Hamas won't provide this list of the living captives. It insists on an end to the war, while Israel, on the other hand, says even if there is a 6-week pause, the war will continue afterwards. So where will the concessions come from, Rami?
Well, again, you have many different issues. The number of, will they give them lists? The first ceasefire, they didn't give a list. They just said there'll be so many people released, women, children. But they didn't give a list of names. So a list is a new demand, and it's not apparently a government demand. It's Netanyahu's own demand that he made at the last minute. There's an issue of how many Palestinian prisoners in Israel will be released for each hostage. There's a question of, will this be a ceasefire for 6 weeks, and then the war will, the bombing of the genocidal bombing of Gaza will continue? I mean, Hamas has no interest in a brief pause, and then they're re-subjected to this incredible assault on them and killing civilians who are lining up to get humanitarian aid. I mean, the barbarity that is coming out of the Israeli state, it never ends.
Rami, just a final thought to you. I mean, it was just yesterday that the White House was quite optimistic that this framework deal was on the table. Now we have the Vice President, Kamala Harris, calling for an immediate ceasefire. But the US, though, Rami, seems powerless in this war, and Washington is becoming even more isolated in its support for Israel.
Yes, the US is getting hurt as a nation, as a country in the world. It is showing itself to be, as it seems to have been for the last 40, 50 years, pretty much doing whatever Israel wants it to do, with very, very rare exceptions. Third of all, you've got now a historic new development, which is the Palestine issue is a domestic political electoral issue. And what happened in Michigan last week and what might happen next Tuesday on Super Tuesday is a big shock to a big scary shock to the Democratic Party that they might lose these swing states, and because a bunch of people, not just Arab Americans or Muslim Americans, but African Americans, Hispanic Americans, students, progressive Jews, labor unions, a whole coalition that had always been the core of the Democratic Party is now saying, we're not going to vote for you, Biden, unless you do this immediate ceasefire. So you've got that new element as well. It's a very multi-dimensional dynamic, and nobody has a single hold on the whole thing.
Rami Khouri, always good to get your thoughts and your analysis, Rami. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.